The Raiders are making waves again. Fresh off minicamp and riding high after key signings, Las Vegas is closer than ever to locking in a 53-man roster that could surprise the league. Right now, 91 players wear the silver and black. But when it comes down to that final 53, who stays, who goes, and most importantly, who's rising fast? Let's break it all down. We begin with the quarterbacks. There's no question here. Geno Smith is QB1. That battle's over before it started. But the real fight, it's for QB2. Both Aiden O'Connell and Cameron Miller, the Raiders' recent draft pick, are neck and neck. And while Carter Bradley adds depth, most expect the Raiders to keep just 3 QBs on the active roster. Next up, the running backs. And this is where it gets very interesting. But before we dive into the backfield shakeup, a quick reminder. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a single Raiders update. We drop news faster than the AFC West drops coverage. Now, back to the backfield. After selecting Ashton Jeanty in the first round, the Raiders made their intentions clear. This isn't just another rookie. They expect fireworks. Drafting a running back that early says a lot about how they plan to shape the offense. Jeanty's burst and vision have already turned heads in minicamp. The question now is, how will the rest of the RB room adjust? Let's talk running backs, because Las Vegas has decisions to make. After drafting Ashton Jeanty, it's clear the Raiders want explosiveness in the backfield. He's a lock. Alongside him, Isaiah Moore and Sincere McCormick have shown enough to feel safe, especially with Moore's physicality and McCormick's versatility. But behind them, the real fight begins. Zamir White, once thought to be a key piece of this backfield, may now be on the bubble. While he's trimmed down and looks quicker, this coaching staff is placing huge value on special teams' impact, and that could tip the scales. Between Lai Howie and Chris Collier, the edge might belong to Lai. He's stood out in camp not just for his reps at RB, but for his role in coverage and return formations. It's brutal, but it's the business. And this might be the year Zamir White becomes the odd man out. Now, onto the wide receiver room, where things are moving fast. 3 names are rising above the rest: Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton Jr., and Jacoby Myers. These aren't just placeholders, they've earned it. Tucker's speed is creating mismatches. Thornton's route running is polished, and Myers continues to be a steady veteran presence. Here's the twist. Instead of the usual 6 receivers, this new projection has only 5 making the cut. Why? Because the Raiders are leaning into tight end heavy packages, 2 and even 3 tight end sets, more than ever before. That makes sense when your tight end room features players like Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, 2 guys who can line up all over the field and stress defenses. The message from minicamp is clear. This Raiders offense is going to be fast, flexible, and hard to predict. After adjusting the wide receiver count, the Raiders have opened space for an extra tight end, and given what we've seen in minicamp, it's the right move. 2 names are locked in: Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. They're not just tight ends, they're offensive weapons. Whether it's short yardage, red zone, or stretching the seams, they'll be key in multiple formations. But what about TE3? That's where Ian Thomas steps in. Coaches love his reliability. He blocks well, makes clean catches, and does the dirty work. In an offense gearing up for heavy tight end usage, Thomas fills a crucial role. He's not flashy, but he's exactly what this offense needs. Now, the surprise. With 1 spot likely left, the battle among Cole Conroy, Noah Shorter, and Kadir Ismail has been intense. But based on early June practices, specifically June 10th through 12th, Kadir Ismail is separating himself. Taller, rangier, and more fluid as a pass catcher, he's caught the attention of staff and analysts alike. If the Raiders are looking to add length and receiving versatility, Ismail might be the perfect complement behind Bowers and Mayer. So, don't be shocked if the silver and black roll with 4 tight ends this season, and Ismail snags that last spot. Now, let's shift to the offensive line, the foundation of everything. The starters, locked. The Raiders know what they're doing in the trenches. But the real conversation is about depth. Names like Thayer Munford and Dalton Wagner have been battling back and forth, and depending on the week, the edge flips. It's razor thin. Expect this to remain one of the final decisions before cut day. Let's talk trenches. The Raiders are locking in their core up front. but a few critical decisions are still in play. One of them? Thayer Munford. After going back and forth, this projection puts Munford ahead of Dalton Wagner, and here's why. Coaches have started using Munford at left guard, backing up Dylan Parham rather than at tackle. That shift changes everything. As a tackle, Wagner might be stronger overall, but if you're keeping Munford for his versatility, especially as a swing lineman who can play both guard and tackle, that adds real value. And despite some injury concerns last season, Munford's upside is still there. Meanwhile, recent draftees like Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers are firmly in. You don't cut rookies that early. Another name worth noting? Jordan Meredith. He spent most of minicamp repping at backup center behind Jackson Powers Johnson, a clear signal that Meredith is being considered as a reliable interior backup. Right now, the Raiders seem to be building out the offensive line with flexibility in mind. A player like Munford who can step in at multiple positions may win out over someone like Wagner, who's more of a pure tackle. And if you're keeping count, that's 25 players locked in before shifting to the defense. Let's dive into the defensive side of the ball. At edge rusher, 3 names are absolute locks: Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, and Malcolm Kuntz. No surprises there. But what about the depth behind them? There's a real battle brewing between Charles Snowden, Andre Carter, and a few UDFAs like John Joyner and Xavi Harvey. Right now, Snowden has the edge. Multiple voices from within the locker room have praised his growth and effort. He's built the kind of trust that earns roster spots. Some have even compared him, cautiously, to a budget version of Bruce Irvin. Not a direct match in talent, but in body type and burst. If Snowden continues to develop, don't be surprised if he grabs that final edge spot. Now, shifting to the defensive tackles. With Christian Wilkins managing his workload during minicamp, the Raiders are expected to carry extra depth here, possibly 6 defensive tackles to start the season. The lineup? Christian Wilkins, of course. Adam Butler, who just signed a 3-year deal, rookies Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Peggs, both expected to be impact pieces. Nazi Lailua, a monstrous nose tackle who's impressed at minicamp John Laulia, a rising name who continues to earn respect within the coaching staff that brings the count to 35 players. But arguably the most fascinating battle is happening at linebacker. After signing Jermaine Pratt to a 1-year deal worth $4.25 million, the highest paid linebacker on the squad, it's clear he's walking into a starting role. The team didn't draft a linebacker this year, which leaves the competition wide open. It's a crowded room, and decisions will come down to who can contribute on special teams, who's picking up the system quickly, and who can stay healthy through camp. We'll break down the final linebacker group next. Las Vegas is expected to keep 6 linebackers, though the final spot is anything but certain. Here's the breakdown. Jermaine Pratt is locked in. He's the vocal leader and the highest paid linebacker on the roster. Divine Diablo, Roberts, and Luke Masterson, White, also clear starters. Cody Lindbergh, the rookie, has been drawing strong reviews and is a safe bet to make it. That leaves the final 2 spots in tight competition between Amari Gaynor and Tommy Eichenberg. Gaynor stands out as arguably the best coverage linebacker on the team, not named Pratt. He's been quietly building momentum, and even Max Crosby is reportedly high on his potential. Eichenberg, meanwhile, finds himself in a tough spot. He's a solid run stopper, but in a defense that values versatility and speed, he could be squeezed out. Still, the new kickoff return rules put a premium on linebackers who can contribute on special teams. That might be what gives Eichenberg the edge over fringe players at other positions. Now, to the corners, where things get even tighter. Eric Stokes and Dorian Porter have been the top 2 in camp. Jacorian Bennett, despite a quiet offseason, was the Raiders' best corner last year. He's not going anywhere. But the challenge is depth. With the numbers on defense tightening up, the Raiders might only carry 5 cornerbacks. That forces some difficult decisions. One name to watch, Cameron Richardson. He's flashed moments of talent, but hasn't yet put it all together consistently. The coaches see the potential, but with roster spots scarce, he'll need a big training camp to secure his place. Let's start with the secondary, where decisions were made with both performance and flexibility in mind. Cornerback Cameron Richardson had a mixed offseason, some flashes but inconsistent. Meanwhile, Eric Stokes and Dorian Porter have been the standouts. And Jacorian Bennett, despite nursing a minor injury, remains a key figure after his strong 2023 season. But in a surprise twist, Darnay Holmes may be on the chopping block if the team chooses to keep someone like Q Blue Kelly or an extra safety instead. And that brings us to the safety room, which is a logjam. Only 4 spots were available. Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Pola-Mao are locked in. Lonnie Johnson Jr. has quietly locked up the 3rd spot thanks to his versatility and familiarity with the coaching staff. For the final slot, the battle came down to Thomas Harper and Trey Taylor. Taylor, the 2023 Jim Thorpe Award winner, is a fan favorite, but Harper has been deployed more as a nickel and 4th safety in minicamp. Based purely on usage, Harper gets the edge, a decision that had more to do with scheme fit than talent. Now for special teams, no surprises here. Daniel Carlson remains the kicker. A.J. Cole handles punting duties. Jacob Bobenmoyer returns as long snapper. DJ Turner has been listed as both kick and punt returner heading into camp. That gives us a full 53-man roster. But building this list wasn't easy. Some of the most painful cuts included Trey Taylor, Dalton Wagner, Zamir, White, Jalen Smith. Every one of these players could end up back on the practice squad, but it just shows how much deeper this Raiders roster is compared to previous years. And with training camp still ahead, don't be surprised if a few names rise or fall, because in the NFL, nothing stays still for long.